This is Suzanne Park, Chief Building Official with the City of Sunnyvale, and I am presenting the proposed REACH codes that will be submitted to the Sustainability Commission in August, the Planning Commission in September, and ultimately the City Council in October. This presentation will include a brief overview of what are REACH codes and the proposed implementation of each phase, and will provide links to a forum for feedback and discussion. The REACH codes are a method to exceed California energy codes, which are the state's minimum energy conservation standards. The REACH codes are a pathway towards meeting the state and city greenhouse gas emissions reduction goals, which will be presented in a later slide. The proposed REACH codes, which would be adopted in an ordinance, are proven to be fiscally responsible. The state of California requires that any modification to the state-adopted building code standards be proven to be cost-effective. The proposed REACH codes encourage healthier and safer buildings and would also support increased use of low and no pollution vehicles. As of 2018, Sunnyvale has documented our greenhouse gas emissions to be primarily from the building energy consumption and the use of fossil fuels for transportation. Of the 38% of emissions from the building energy sector, 66% comes from the commercial properties and 34% comes from the residential properties. The state-assigned goal for Sunnyvale is to reduce greenhouse gas emissions to 600,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide by 2030. The city is reaching farther by setting our goal at approximately 450,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide by 2030. This is an ambitious goal that requires ambitious planning. A couple of brief definitions. As discussed, REACH codes exceed minimum California energy codes. They also must be proven to be cost-effective before the state of California will permit the ordinance to be in effect. The definition of all electric is defined as a structure without gas appliances. Some identify all electric with the absence of gas supply to a property. Since all properties in our city have gas supplies, it is not cost-effective to remove the gas line when abandoning the line is cost-effective. Photovoltaics is the terminology used for solar panels. Solar panels do not have to be roof-mounted. Additional definitions include the Climate Action Playbook, also known as CAP 2.0, and is the city's established pathway to meeting greenhouse gas reduction goals. Lastly, the Green Building Program is an incentive-based approach to encouraging greenhouse gas reduction through responsible building practices. Phase 1, which is the current proposed REACH code ordinance, includes most residential construction projects and hotels. Large hotels have an exemption, as we will discuss later. Phase 1 will meet two Climate Action Playbook goals. The first being Climate Action Playbook 2.0 Strategy 1, promoting clean energy through increasing local solar photovoltaic, and the second being CAP 2.0 Strategy 2, decarbonizing buildings through achieving all-electric new construction. The new ordinance would require new residential construction to be all-electric. Please note that Sunnyvale deems a major remodel as a new home. Removing 50% or more of the exterior walls or raising the roof supports on more than 50% of the roof area triggers the new home requirement. The city currently has a green building program that incentivizes building all electric. Since some exemptions to the proposed REACH codes exist, Only fully compliant, all-electric buildings will reap the benefits outlined in our Green Building Program. Two things to add about proposed REACH Code ordinance is that photovoltaic panels are already required in new single-family and duplex construction for the California Energy Code. There are deviations to the photovoltaic requirements based on limited construction feasibility and existing foliage. Multifamily will be required to have photovoltaic, however, on a smaller scale. Alternatively, they could use solar water heating for all or a portion of the requirement. An education program we are planning is to familiarize homeowners with future REACH Code updates, starting with the main electrical panel sizing calculations. This simple calculation will be required prior to an approval to replace the main electric panel on your house. The required calculation will demonstrate to the homeowner the potential size needed for an electric panel if the house is later converted to all electric. This information gives the opportunity for the homeowner to make an informed decision to upgrade the panel now instead of an additional upgrade in the future if electrical appliances are installed. There are two exclusions from the all-electric requirement for new construction. The first exclusion will be previously entitled multifamily projects. This exemption permits multifamily projects that have a valid planning land use approval before this ordinance goes into effect to not have to meet the REACH Code requirements. This is an exemption is similar to the exemptions afforded in the Green Building Code. The second exclusion would be for the attached accessory dwelling units. Since this is considered an addition to an existing home, it is currently not cost-effective to upgrade the residence to new requirements. Phase 2 includes large hotels of 80 rooms or more. The partial deferred compliance of these buildings is due to the greenhouse gas emissions generated from on-site gas laundry dryers. When a cost-effectiveness program is completed, this issue will be addressed. Phase 3 of the proposal is a future ordinance that will address additional features such as electric vehicle chargers. The additional feature that will affect residential construction would be pre-wiring for electric vehicle chargers. California currently requires new homes to be capable to install electric vehicle chargers. The feature addresses the Climate Action Playbook for decarbonizing transportation and sustainability land use by supporting the increased use of zero emissions vehicles. Requiring building owners to pre-wire for an electric charger during a renovation or an addition to their home or building will incentivize or simplify the decision of a homeowner to purchase an electric vehicle. The date of implementation is unknown. The final phase is for broad-reaching requirements for residential additions and alterations. These new requirements would address the CAP 2.0 strategy to reduce energy consumption in existing buildings and support the electrification of existing buildings. Phase 4 implementation target is unknown since currently it is not shown to be cost-effective to require additions and alterations to trigger upgrades to electric appliances. Appliances in this context would mean furnace, water heater, dryer, and stove range. Future goals would be to require electric appliances to be installed when these appliances are upgraded, as well as meeting California Energy Code requirements. Additions would need to meet the requirements of a new construction, such as electric appliances and photovoltaic systems. The phase could be split into multiple phases, for example, a small front door entry enclosure versus a whole room addition. We are scheduled to present to the Sustainability Commission for feedback on August 17, 2020. Also, we are presenting to the Planning Commission on September 14, 2020. And finally, we will present our findings to the City Council on October 27, 2020. This is the conclusion of the presentation on REACH codes for residential structures. Please consider taking a 5-minute survey on Open Town Hall at opentownhall.com/9367. If you have additional feedback after the survey, please feel free to contact us with feedback at reachcodes@sunnyvale.ca.gov. All messages will be reviewed and receipt will be acknowledged. Individual responses to feedback may not be provided. However, all feedback will be provided to the commissions and the City Council for their consideration. Thank you.